This video will provide a brief overview of the SMARTfit user interface app while in rehab mode. The overview in fitness mode will be provided in a separate video. First, download the user interface app from the App Store on iOS devices or the Google Play Store on Android devices. The iOS App Store link is provided on the screen. Once downloaded, create a new therapist account from the Create a New Account button. An email address and password must be associated with this account. You will need access to this email address during the initial creation process. Therefore, a personal or work email is suitable. Once signed in, you will automatically be directed to the Home tab of the user interface. It is organized into 5 tabs located at the bottom of the screen: the Home tab, the Play tab, Test tab, Data tab, and the Build tab. We'll now take you through how each works. The Home tab is where you sign in the patient you are working with. All of your patients will show up under this list. You can create as many as you would like. Select the name of the patient you are working with. That way data can be collected and stored under the appropriate patient. The group feature allows the therapist to work with multiple patients at the same time, while the app tracks their data efficiently. The grouping feature also allows a headquarters account to manage a multi-site organization. All therapists and patients can be stored under the appropriate location and managed by the headquarters account. The therapist will connect to the controller at the start of each day. Ensure the controller is turned on so that it shows an 8-digit ID number on the front display. Select the Manage Connections option, then select the 8-digit ID number to connect to the controller. The Settings option will allow the therapist to select the system they are using. The image next to the Configuration option must match the SMARTfit system being used. This image should be selected when connecting to the high impact or low impact mini. This image should be selected when connecting to the single. This image should be selected when connecting to the strike pods. This image should be selected when connecting to the mini and strike pods at the same time. This image should be selected when connecting to the single and strike pods at the same time. Keep in mind, changing the configuration option will change activities and programs you'll have access to within the Play tab. There are additional controller settings the therapist can adjust to improve the experience for the patient and therapist. The question marks next to each option will provide a written description about the importance of each option. The therapist will have access to the Help section, which contains instructional videos for each system and the user interface app. You will also find these on our website at www.smartfitos.com/smartfit-app/. The next tab is the Play tab. It houses 14 category folders, which contains a total of 43 games. The variety of game options allows the therapist to choose the difficulty of the game simply by selecting one game over another. For example, the category folder labeled Seek turns on all the targets with multiple choices, so that the patient must choose the correct answer for each strike, while the category folder labeled Track turns on only one target at a time. In this instance, the Seek folder would be an increase in difficulty relative to the Track folder. You will have more options for personalizing the training session by adjusting the difficulty of the game settings. You can change the time, level, target sensitivity, adding equipment, and more. At the top of the screen, there are pre-designed activity and program tabs containing 4 different rehab folders in the mini configuration: Brain Health Fitness for Older Adults, Rehab Orthopedic, Rehab Cognitive Neuro, and Rehab Motor Control. Keep in mind, this list changes based on the configuration option the therapist has selected. Overall, there are hundreds of how-to-play video examples of each activity and program created by SMARTfit clinicians. These examples will make it easy for you to quickly get up to speed on what has already been built. Each folder has subfolders so that you can focus on a particular patient type. The Assisted folder is best used for patients that are either wheelchair bound or able to stand with a walker and therapist for support. The independent folder is for patients that can perform dynamic movements without needing a therapist to support them with their balance. The final folder offers a choice to focus on either a physical or cognitive domain. The therapist can also easily create and save their own list of activities and programs to share with their patients and other therapists by customizing pre-designed versions or creating their own. The next tab is the Test tab, which contains our standardized baseline tests. This tab offers a cognitive test folder and a dual task cost test folder. The cognitive test folder utilizes many of the standardized cognitive assessments widely used by psychiatrists and psychologists to assess cognitive function. SMARTfit is the first technology to combine these tests with motor function to measure dual task performance. The result the patient achieves for each test will determine strengths and weaknesses in specific regions of the brain like executive function, memory, attention, processing speed, and more. The dual task cost tests contain a total of 24 tests of strength, gait, and balance. The strength test contains different versions of the sit-to-stand test, the gait folder contains different versions of the timed up and go test, and the balance folder contains different versions of the 4-stage balance test. All 24 tests consist of 3 activities in each version: a physical-only task, followed by a cognitive-only task, and finished with a dual task. The test chosen will determine a patient's ability to perform a cognitive and motor task together and at the same time, compared to performing the physical task and cognitive task separately. The report generated at the end of this test will provide the cost of performing both the motor and cognitive task together. The report will also provide any improvement that has been made between each subsequent retest. These tests will provide the initial baselines on day 1, and it is suggested each retest be administered every 3 to 4 weeks. The recommended programs to improve the results of this test are provided on the last page of the PDF report. The next tab is labeled Data. This is where you can review graphs showing progress for a single client on any game or activity within the Play tab or Test tab. You will have the ability to generate an Excel report from this area of the app. It can be exported via email, AirDrop, or print. And finally, the Build tab. This is where you can create your personalized programs, generate PDF reports for a program, build target sequences and selections, add new equipment, or build a word list for the spelling game category. Now that you know where everything is, you can navigate SMARTfit with ease. If you have any further questions, comments, or concerns, please contact our customer service line at +1 800 900 8542 extension 112.